Balance of payment simply is an account which records all international transactions. It means the transactions between the domestic country and all the foreign countries, or you can simply say with the rest of the world. When you have to define the balance of payment, so you will define it as the account which records all the transactions done by the residents of an economy with rest of the world or the foreign economies, and it is prepared yearly. You can simply understand what it means. It is simply to detect or to record that what incomes and what expenditures has an economy done with the rest of the world. Or you can simply say it is like NFIA, but different from NFIA. It's a broader concept which includes each and everything which any transaction which is done with the foreign economies. Now let's see, as I say that balance of payment is an account. So you know that account always has two sides, where you record the payments and the receipts. That is all the payments which my economy, suppose India is doing with Nepal, Sri Lanka, USA or any other country. Those payments and those receipts which I am receiving from the foreign countries will be recorded in the BOP, and the account student can simply understand that it has debit and credit side. Before the coming of this BOP, older concept was used that was known as BOT, that is balance of trade. Balance of trade is an older concept which includes only the trade of the visibles. Visibles means only the goods. It doesn't include any services. It is simply calculated as Vx minus Vm, that is value of exports minus value of imports. Now this can be in positive and negative. Similarly, BOP can also be in positive or negative. Suppose the payments which I have made to the rest of the world are more than the receipt which I have got from the rest of the world, so my BOP will be in negative. We will study about that. That is known as an unfavorable BOP. Now the BOP, like the government budget, has a structure, okay, or it is also divided into two major parts: capital account and current account. So the first part is current account. And second part is capital account. The logic remains the same. Current account will include the transactions which do not affect the balance sheet. Okay, so current account will include all the transactions which do not affect the balance sheet, or you can simply say that which will not affect the long-term assets and liabilities of the economy. Or you can also say of the government, because see, BOP will be prepared by the government. No private individual would be bothered to prepare the BOP, or he would be least interested in knowing that how much the economy has paid. Suppose I am a private individual dealing with the foreign economy, so I will be making only my account, not the account for the whole economy. While the capital account includes the transactions which will affect the balance sheet, or you can say which affect the long-term assets and liabilities of the economy. See, the logic to differentiate between the current account transaction and capital account transaction remain the same as we have done in the government budget, which is for the revenue transaction and capital transaction. Say like giving a donation to Nepal, say by India, that will be part of the current account because it doesn't increase any asset of the economy. But giving a loan to Nepal would be part of the capital account because the loan is recoverable and it creates the asset of the economy. So this is how you differentiate between them. When you have to define same which do not affect the balance sheet or the long-term assets and liabilities of the economy, while for the capital which affect the balance sheet or the long-term assets and liabilities of the economy or the government. Now we'll just see that what things are lying under the current account and capital account, or you can say which transactions are part of capital and current account. So first we will discuss about the current account of BOP. The first thing that current account of BOP includes the EXIM of goods and services. EXIM means export and import. All export and import of the economy of goods or whether of services is recorded in the current account because it is a routine transaction, a current account transaction. Second is all unilateral transfers. Unilateral transfers we already know, transfer payments. We have done them in national income, or you also call them as one-sided transactions. Like I said, giving loan to the government of Nepal by the Indian government. So you have to remember that any sort of transaction which you feel is an export import of good or service, or you feel is a unilateral transfer, will be part of the current account. The questions which will be asked from you will be like this, that a transaction is given to you and you are asked to classify it into current or capital account giving a reason. Suppose this transaction which I am talking about, say giving a loan to Nepal, is asked to you in the exam, so you will have to write it will be recorded in the capital account of the BOP because it increases the assets of the government in the foreign country. And suppose say giving a help to Nepal or a donation to Nepal, that will be part of the current account because it doesn't increase or decrease any asset or liabilities of the government. So you have to simply understand and answer the question in the correct way. So these are two major transactions covered under the current account. Now we move on to the capital account. The capital account, as I said, that it will be affecting the balance sheet of the residents of the economy or the government of the economy. Means it would lead to change in the assets and liabilities of either the normal residents of that economy or the government of that economy. Capital account, first it includes the private capital. Private capital refers to the private individuals who are doing any transaction or who are investing their capital into the foreign economies. Like a person A from India buying shares of any US company. Person A buying shares of a company belonging to USA, that is a capital account transaction because it has increased the assets of this person in the foreign countries. So it leads to increase in the assets of the economy. That's why it is a capital account transaction and it is classified under the subhead of private capital. See, this also you have to keep in mind that BOP is a account, so it is recording both the sides. Means the capital can be invested by the private person from India in other country, or it can be the other way around, or you can say an individual from a foreign country can invest into India. So that would go to the receipt side while this would go to the payment side because money is going out. Second is official capital. Official capital refers to the capital invested by the government or government institutions in the foreign economies, or maybe the foreign governments or foreign institutions investing in your economy. It is called as official because it is through some channel. So that's why it is different from the private capital. While private capital could be direct investment by any individual. Then third is banking capital. Banking capital refers to the capital of the foreign banks in your economy or the capital of your banks in the foreign countries. Say like HSBC, that is Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, working in India, and person B say taking loan from it. Person B, an Indian resident, taking a loan from HSBC bank. So that is a sort of banking capital which has occurred in your economy. Similarly, SBI operating in England and giving loans there. Okay, that is again part of the banking capital that is the Indian capital working in a foreign country, and this is a foreigner's capital working in the Indian economy, and it has come through a bank, that's why it is classified under the subhead of banking capital. Then next is amortization of capital. See, the word amortization of capital means bringing back the capital. Say for example, shares of Reliance had been bought by some person A living in Australia. So it means that it is the capital of my economy, or a unit or a share of company belonging to my economy being owned by someone living in Australia. Now suppose person B buys back this share of Reliance from this Australian. Okay, so what he has done, he has brought back this share of Reliance into the Indian economy. This concept is known as the amortization of capital. It may be done by the government, may be done by the government institutions to bring back the capital of their economy into their home economies from the abroad. Because remember, capital is also a resource, it is also a factor of production. So if your capital is working outside, it means that your economy is losing something. So important source of the capital account. The last one is gold and forex reserve. The gold reserve and the forex means foreign exchange reserve, which is held by the RBI. So any increase or decrease in this reserve to pay some foreign economy, or maybe by earning from some economy, will be a part of capital account, because it is changing the assets of the government. This gold and foreign exchange reserve is an asset for the government. So this is the basic idea of the capital account and the current account. When the government is making this BOP, it will make the current account separately and make the capital account separately, and overall balance of BOP will be the balance of current account plus the balance of the capital account. Okay, then the next important thing to understand is that the credit and debit side of, or you can say the overall balance of BOP is always equal. Equal here means that the credit side is always equal to the debit side. See, because if you follow the accounting concept, that is double bookkeeping. Double bookkeeping means that every credit has a equal debit. This is the rule which we follow in our accounts. Okay, so simply because the balance of payment is being done with the help of journal entries and with the help of the double bookkeeping system, so that's why the credit and debit side will always come as equal, and you will have a balance carried down in the account. For anyone who is not having accounts or doesn't know accounts, he simply has to remember that if this question is asked that why the overall balance is equal, or why the credit and debit side of the capital account are of the balance of BOP are equal, you simply have to state that it is made on the or prepared on the basis of the double bookkeeping system, under which every credit has a equal debit, which leads to the balance of credit and debit side being equal in the BOP. Okay, so key concept you can remember, because it is another important question which may be asked to you in the board exam. Okay, but it doesn't mean that my BOP will always be balanced. Okay, we may have three types of BOPs. The first is balanced BOP. Second is favorable BOP. It is just like the budget. Okay, and third is unfavorable BOP. Right? Balanced BOP means that the receipt side is equal to the payment side. Like say I have received 500 crores from the world and rest of the world, and I have paid the same 500 crores to the rest of the world. Means net BOP is 0. Favorable BOP means when the receipt is more than the payments. Means I have earned more from the foreign economies and I have paid less to the foreign economies. Unfavorable BOP is the opposite, where receipt is less than payment, right? And you can simply see that the name suggests the meaning. Favorable means when I am in profit, that is I am earning more from rest of the world and paying less to the rest of. Okay, so these are the three types of BOPs which an economy can have. Favorable BOP can also be known as surplus BOP. Unfavorable BOP can also be known as the deficit BOP. Now see, whenever there is some excess of receipt over payment or payment over receipt, then it has to be managed. It is easy to manage this, right? But there is a difficulty when this situation occurs. Means you have to pay more and you have received less money. So for this purpose, the government maintains the official reserve account. Official reserve account simply refers to the reserve of foreign exchange, the foreign currencies and the gold maintained by the RBI, which we did as the fifth component of the capital account. So whenever there is shortage of some money into the BOP, government will transfer the money from official reserve account and meet out the deficit in the BOP. While if there is a favorable BOP, government will transfer the excess money into the official reserve account. This is the way of maintaining the official reserve account. So if you are asked that how is the deficit in the BOP met, you can simply say it is done by reducing the gold and foreign exchange reserves or by paying through the official reserve account of the RBI. And if there is excess of money, it is stored in the, or you can say it is transferred to the official reserve account. It is simply like a, you can say like a piggy bank maintained. If you have shortage of money, you take out money, and if you have excess of money, you put in the money into the official reserve account. Okay, now the last topic of this particular chapter is the type of transactions into the BOP or in the BOP. First is autonomous transaction and second is accommodating transactions. Means there can be two type of transactions in the BOP, that is autonomous and accommodating. Remember the question for this particular topic comes as a differentiation, that is differentiate between autonomous transaction and accommodating transactions of the BOP. So just see, autonomous transactions are the transactions which are done by the private sector. The motive of doing these transactions is profit, that is profit motive, while the transactions, the accommodating transactions are done by the government sector. The motive is welfare. Welfare simply means balancing the BOP. Okay, you can just simply understand how these transactions are related to one another. Say the whole private sector of the economy did the payments of 600 to the rest of the world, but was able to earn only 400 from the rest of the world. So it means the BOP has become unbalanced or disequilibrium. So in this case, so these transactions will be known as the autonomous transactions, because here no one is thinking about any welfare. Any person doing this transaction is simply thinking about his own benefit, his own profit. So this disequilibrium in the BOP will be met by the government. It means now the government will do some transaction to match this difference, and that transaction will be known as accommodating transactions, or you can simply say that accommodating transactions are depending on the autonomous transactions. And clear-cut difference is there, done by the private sector for the profit motive, done by the government sector for the welfare motive, which welfare in this case means balancing the BOP. there are few more differences. See now, because they are not depending on any other transaction, so they are also known as above the line transactions. And because they are depending on the autonomous transactions, so they are known as below the line transactions. Then these are independent, and these depend on the autonomous transactions. Okay, so these are the four differences, 4 points of difference which you can make out in autonomous and accommodating transactions. And remember, the question would be of 4 marks, that is to differentiate between these two type of transaction, and these are the 4 points which you can mention in that answer. भाई जी, अबे कैमरामैन को तुमने पीछे